I'm very excited that we have two of our members that went just this past month in September. And one of the gentlemen is going to come up here and get me introduced in a minute, Jim Weaver from Lake Wales, Barton. Lake Wales. He's been many, many times. So again, just to lay the groundwork, this is our opportunity as the Lakeland Rotary Club to get involved in an international type project. And we talked about doing water projects and things of that nature. They're going to tell you more about that. And our goal is to take a group of us back in February. And I'm hoping that we can get somewhere between 8 and 10 people who want to go that and see that, because I think it'd be a great experience and something to be a significant contribution by our club. So without further ado, Cynthia is going to come up and introduce our program.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Jim Weaver. I have to say there are about 6 people here today, Kim, myself, and Jim, Luis, Trudy, and Larry, and Nick Hall, of course, who joined us in Honduras this past couple of weeks, past month. It was a very impactful experience, and I think you'll see today with Jim's presentation, there were so many projects, so many places that we went, that it can be overwhelming, but it was really important work, and it was really good work. So Jim Weaver, our dear friend, is a distinguished military graduate of the University of Southern Mississippi. He majored in public relations and minored in music with an emphasis in theater, including 2 seasons in the Summer Stock Company. At college, Jim was class president and president of his fraternity. In the Vietnam conflict, he was platoon leader in support of the U.S. Army's 11th Armored Cavalry Division. So at Tulane University, Jim did master's level work in music and performed principal, vocal, and acting roles at Tulane's Summer Lyric Theater. So I had no idea he had such an illustrious art background. That's information I can use for the future, so thank you, Jim. And he attended law school at the University of Georgia. Jim served as a justice on the law school honor court. His law practice focuses on real estate, trusts and estate planning, probate, and business transactions. He is based in Lake Wales. Jim is a multiple Paul Harris Fellow and past president of the Lake Wales Breakfast Rotary Club. Last year, he was honored to receive the District Service Award for his work in shipping 2 tons of medical supplies and equipment to a pregnancy clinic in Honduras, and I believe that's the pregnancy clinic that we visited. He has just returned from his 11th trip to Honduras since 2013, and earlier this year he was awarded the Rotarian of the Year for District 6890. So congratulations, and thank you for spending time with us and inspiring us.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. It was my pleasure to be here this morning. I've got a lot to tell you about Honduras. I've got a handout on your tables. I only did 30 of them. I'm not used to Rotarian groups being quite this large. But you'll see we've done probably 36 projects in Honduras since 2013. And I would be remiss, I'd like to start off this program by thanking you. We have a well going in Las Paredes, Honduras. It's a suburb there in El Progreso, and you'll see a little bit about that in a minute. And that is a little colonia that gets water twice a week, sometimes. And the water has fecal chloroform in it, and so if that's what you've got, that's what you've got to use. So we're going to make a difference. And you're going to make a difference because you gave us $6,200 toward our application. And I want to thank every one of you here for doing that. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm technically challenged here. Let's see if we can't get this started. Did that work?
Yes.
Okay. So July, probably the 5th or so, I saw this cello on the front page of the Lakeland Ledger. What's this cello doing there? What is the story behind this cello? Gary White, a very capable writer for the Lakeland Ledger, talked about the Rankin family and Corey Rankin, who passed away far too soon. Fabulous musician, also a luthier, one who makes musical instruments, so he's a very, very talented fellow, passed away. What to do with his musical instruments? Well, one of those musical instruments wound up, guess where? the University of Honduras in San Pedro Sula. So that's where we fly into. So I'm thinking, hey, why don't we put a concert together? Why don't we invite Larry and Trudy Rankin to go hear their son's cello played in a concert? I'm happy to tell you that that happened, and it was a fabulous event. So, this is the young lady that plays that cello. She has a full scholarship to the University of Honduras. She would not have that if she did not have that instrument. And so she was in charge of putting together a concert, which I'll tell you about in a bit. And so this was also on the front page of the Lakeland Ledger. Why are these people smiling? Well, Larry Rankin said, a music concert, well, why don't we collect musical instruments? So that's what we did. We collected a French horn and a trumpet from our church. I wound up getting a trombone. We wound up with violins, and we took them all to Honduras, and they were delighted to have them. So when you get to Honduras, we stay at the first half of the trip with Compelled by Christ, a 501c3 organization. Bonnie Barker, I hope she could be here today. Dad's in the hospital, she couldn't make it. But Bonnie formed this organization that rescues abandoned, abused, neglected girls, typically out of the sex trade, and their children. So these are some of their children. And we like to partner with different organizations. One of them is the Chispa Project. Norris Burks writes a column, Spirit Matters, on Sunday. It's you'll see it in the Ledger. And so he's inspired by his daughter being in Honduras and starting this program for distributing books to libraries throughout grade schools, elementary schools in Honduras. It's a fantastic program. They don't have any books. So I contacted him and asked him how I could get in touch with his daughter. So she picked up Nick and I at the airport in San Pedro Sula, and it was that evening that we had the concert. But this is in Choloma, where Bonnie's headquarters is. There's a campus there, and these little girls are enjoying reading. If you look on the left, we took a videographer with us, Storybox, Caleb Bish, and Aaron. I think Caleb is about 5'4", and Aaron is about 6'4", so to see them together, something of a comedy, but Aaron had a wonderful time there and was very inspiring to the kids. The little girl on the left is showing her tiara. Miss Honduras, Saray Moran, is from El Progreso and is partners with us when we are there. She brought her crown, and every one of the little girls there got to wear that crown and have a beautiful dress on. So the picture on the right is Trudy making friends there in Choloma, as well as Kim and little Anna. And then on the right there is Cliff, and he would rather snuggle up to Miss Honduras. So. And we have, what's more important than a new dress for a little girl, huh? So there's a new dress on the left. The story on the right is a heartbreaking story. She was in the news in Honduras. She was terribly abused by her father and stepmother, chained to the fence, beaten. If you look closely, her eyes still have bloodshot. They would take food outside, show it to her, and feed it to the dogs. I mean, it's just impossible to describe the mayhem that this girl went through. So she was rescued, brought to Compelled by Christ, and she's very artistic. Do you know what color God's eyes are? They're blue. Because she said that was who came to me in my most difficult times, and he had blue eyes. So she's very artistic, and we want to develop that. So on the left, we're having pizza with Miss Honduras. On the right, we're all in. And this little girl on the far left over here is Julissa, whose mother's special needs. She's never met her father. And so she's been a part of Compelled by Christ. So there she is playing the violin. She is the highest ranking student in her school. She's the medallion winner of her school. She wants to go to medical school. We're going to see that that happens. All right, so here we are in La Donta. That's our well project. In the back, you have to have skin in the game, so the people in La Donta had to put together the well house, and that's Trudy there on the right. Had a band. If you're coming, hey, we deserve a band, don't we? So this is Shirley Howell. Totally Honduran, the name doesn't sound like it, but this is the wonderful girl that Larry and Trudy Rankin have sort of adopted across the miles. She has the cello. And here she is in concert. We had a concert, and this fellow right here is a fantastic flautist, or flutist, however you want to say, and he was a part of that concert. And then we had other performers as well. It wasn't just classical music. Hello? So, a couple on the left. I mean, what kind of concert do you think it's going to be? Well, they played a Cacciatorian piece, a twin dual piano number. Let me back up here. All right, so here are girls. Never been to a concert like that before. They're front row, having a fabulous time. Let's see. So here we are with the alcalde, who is the mayor of El Progreso. He called and asked us what are the names of each person and what club are they from. So when we get there, here he is in the very back there, head of the table. That's him over there, and that's our mayor, Gene Fultz, and then that's our district governor, Nick. And he had quite a program for us. Everyone got a valise with our name on it and the club engraved in it. So we have an in with our dear friend there, who is the mayor. Here we are getting those valises. And now for our work project. Well, there's a technical school there. They call it a technical school. The walls are in great disrepair. There's a gate that they ceremoniously open, swing those gates wide, so you can come in, except the walls are falling down all around. So we had a work project, and we are going to build walls, build a wall there. And so here we are, sort of in the yellow shirts. Luis got on a blue shirt, don't know why. So we are working. Now the thing about it in a third world country, if you achieve a certain social status, you're in a strata where you will not want to get your hands dirty. So we're the ones, but we're Americans. We like to get dirty. We like to get our hands dirty. So we're right in the middle of that, and we're working on this project to build the school. On the left, there's Miss Honduras. By golly, she's not afraid. This little girl in the red there was just a student. She walked up. She wants to help. It's her school. So here we go. Kids just want to pitch in. There's a fellow from our club. On the right is Miss Chispa, who just pitched right in, just one of the gang. On the left is Luis. He's our contact in El Progreso. He's the one that makes things happen. You got to have a guy with boots on the ground that's committed to you. You're committed to him. So that's him. And we had difficulty getting work out of Nick when the camera comes out. He was working, but the camera comes out, so he and Louis are posing. All right, so this is the classroom. I don't think anything demonstrates the poverty in this major city, probably 300,000, largest city you've never heard of, like this photograph does. You will see that these girls are in a sewing class. What you have to examine closely is that they are working with paper sacks. You call them sacks in Mississippi. I think you call them bags here. Paper bags. Okay. So, but the girl in the back there has material. Who knew that material would be so expensive that you can't even afford to have it? So they need sewing machines. We're going to see that happens. Here we are at a school. This is the new school. It's very, very nice. And Miss Honduras in the front there. And is that Kim and Cynthia? I think it is. That is, okay. All right. So that was the old school. Okay. So here we are at a school that we support, which is the Eagle School in Choloma. And our girls, I say our girls because once you go there, those girls are your girls. Our girls go to that school free. So when that school needs a computer lab, we see to it that they get a computer lab. And there's some other things that it needs. We're the Lake Wales Breakfast Rotary Club, and don't you know we have a plaque that's at that school for the Lake Wales Rotary Club that has no connection with this project. All right, so they have some needs for their water. This is the first project we did. There's a lady here, we call her Mother Teresa, and she feeds children after school. Sometimes that's the only meal of the day that they get. So our first project was to pickaxe and pull out all the dirt and the rocks and cement the place. We later put a roof over it. So pending projects, this is a poor neighborhood. I don't know what neighborhood's not a poor neighborhood, but they need bathrooms here on the right. And there is gang activity there, so it takes kids off the streets and gives them a place to stay. So anybody been reading the travel advisory on Honduras lately? Travel advisory on Honduras? That's next week's program, okay? Here's our district governor misbehaving. We had to take him out of that way. So there's a pregnancy clinic on the left. We support the optical clinic that we support. This is a wonderful project. They repair computers. So let's give these kids an air-conditioned room because it's hard to replace parts if you're sweating all over the materials. And so that's a project that needs some support. Here we are on the left. It's called Pro Nino. They just pick up kids off the street, boys, typically boys, streetlight kids. They just kind of cast off. And so what they want to do is they want to have a bakery right here. So if they have enough for ovens, they can have bread for them. They can have bread for the staff that they can sell, and they can sell bread in the neighborhood. Wow, let's have some free enterprise and get it going. On the far right are the bomberos, the fire department, and they don't have the necessary medical supplies when they get to an accident, and they're the first ones that are called. So they need that's a small grant. And I'm talking about these small grants because Vinny Kudva is the international chairman for District 6890. He says, Jim, you got any projects in Honduras? Fix you right up, Vinny. So that's what we're doing there. Here is your project in El Progreso. We're talking to the people there and telling them about the well that we're going to have. 5 minutes. Okay. On the right, I don't have a better picture on the right, but that's a school where the kids have to cross a river, which is very dangerous, in order to go to school. So they built a school in their neighborhood, but they've outgrown it. They need another classroom, and if we provide the money for them, then they'll be able to make that classroom. So here we are in the mountains. If you'll look on your sheet there, that's probably the last proposal there. These people are just forgotten. They are just abandoned. And they're coffee pickers. And there's not a lot of incentive as far as the parents are concerned to send their kids to school. Because if they go to school, it's another person that's not going to be contributing to the welfare of the family. They make $1 a day picking coffee beans. So let's give them some real support. So this fella in the green shirt here grabbed a hold of me, and so we had to pose for this picture. It was supposed to be at 11 o'clock. We didn't get there till 3 o'clock. Everybody is still there. They waited 4 hours for us. They want the school. So you turn around, and that is the view from the back of the school would be behind me, and that's looking forward. This is a rainy day. I mean, you can absolutely see forever, and it's just gorgeous. So here's Miss Chispa, and she's a brave little girl, trots the streets and gets those books out. So let's just kind of pause here and talk about the travel advisory. Don't go to Honduras, it's a very dangerous place. I think it is a dangerous place if you confront the gangs and challenge them. It's just a purely financial arrangement, okay? You go into San Pedro Sula Airport and you go through customs, and the line for expatriates and visitors is 3 times the size of the locals. I mean, we are a cash cow. We do a lot of good to stimulate the economy there. It's good for their business as well. They leave us alone. But we don't go out jogging at 12 o'clock at night by ourselves. Not a good idea, okay? There are probably places in Lakeland that you shouldn't go out jogging at 12 o'clock at night. I know there are in Lake Wales. So, I mean, be sensible about that. So, we're at school. She's talking to the kids. This little boy here was so excited. Everybody's supposed to be sitting down. He's too excited about having a book, so he has to pop up off the floor. Here they are. They're reading. Everybody's got a book, and that's what it's all about right there. She is teaching him how to read, and she's probably a grade ahead of him. So one of the members of the El Progreso Rotary Club is Karen, here in the back. She has a restaurant and lounge and serves fabulous food and adult beverages occasionally. And so here we are having supper, having a wonderful time. And the first time she served us, not on this trip, but on a previous trip, she served us lobster. Everybody got a lobster. I said, Karen, don't do that. We can't afford that. So, but there is time for a little salsa dancing. So this is kind of interesting. This gal right here shows up went to the lounge area and introduced these. These are Americans here. Americans, can I take a picture? Sure. So here she is. She's in the picture. Delighted. Well, here we are at the El Progreso Rotary Club meeting there in El Progreso. Wonderful partner to have. Stand-up guys and gals that you can really count on. You want to do good in a foreign country that needs help, just think about sending $1,000 and hope it shows up in the right place. Not going to happen, okay? I want you to look at this handout that I gave you, 3 pages of projects that we've done since 2013. We feel like we're a reliable partner. We want you to go with us. You've sent 2 wonderful people here to Honduras with us, and Cynthia went with us and had a great time. So did Ms. Brunson, and we had a wonderful time together. I encourage you to consider that. So we're having a meeting here. Next to Nick is the district governor of Honduras, believes in Guatemala. He's a doctor, and so he's at that Rotary Club meeting, and they have their very own building. So, but everything's not all work. We're on the left there. We went out for baleadas. Here's the concluding meeting of the club, and adult beverages shown. Nick kept having a beer thrust in his hand. What was he to do? So, and then here's a final slide. There's Miss Honduras. Gosh, she's such a great gal. She says, "I'm going to fix breakfast for you." So she got up probably 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, fixed breakfast, and brought it to us before we went to the airport. So that concludes my presentation. Shall we have a couple of questions here? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Well, in the schools, is that what you're asking me? No, probably not. No, it's in the cities. Other question. You don't want to talk about the travel advisory? Come on. We do not feel insecure. I've been 11 times. It would have been 12, but I got left at the airport on the time before last. Do you know your passport expires 6 months before it says on your passport? I had my passport, I had my ticket, but I did not have a boarding pass. So check your. Cynthia. Here comes a scenario from Cynthia.
First of all,
we took our flag, and so we received a flag from the El Progreso Rotary. So here you go, Joelle. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's really hard to articulate everything that we face and everything that needs to be done, but hopefully this will at least start the conversation.
So I thought maybe we could share a little bit about our experience when we first got there. We flew in with Jim and the whole team. I don't know how many people were on the plane, 15 or so. We probably had 9 or 12 suitcases with us that were loaded with instruments. We were only carrying our own clothes on our back. The orchestra group met us at the San Pedro Sula airport, and they took all the instruments from us, and then we drove in a school bus, not air conditioned, for about an hour to get to Choloma, the city called Choloma. And in Choloma, we stayed at the shelter for these young women who ran from ages, I don't know, some of their kids were like 2 or 3, and then the girls were up to about age 17. So we spent about 4 days there. That was a very meaningful experience, spending time with them. We did meet Angie, who had just come into the shelter, the young lady with all the bruises. So, you know, that was really hard to see her, but it was great to know that she was in such a good place and really being taken care of. So that was great. So we spent about 4 days there. We went to church with them one day. We went out for pizza once, even though the girls pretty much are kept together in their shelter building that they live in, which is a pretty nice complex actually. It's where we stayed, and it's very hot, by the way. We only have air conditioning in our bedrooms, so after lunch we would run to the bedroom and try to cool off. Then what else did we do in Choloma? We went to La Danta, which is another small city, which is where the first well is, I think, that Rotary... Yeah, the school. There's a school in La Danta, and that school has a well. It's literally a pump in the ground that's pumping out, and they're building, the same company that we've just funded, Water Missions, has been working on this particular well site. They're building a wall that will have a cistern to hold the water, and then the water will go from the cistern into a filtering system, which is literally another building that will be like sand, charcoal. I don't know what they do, but there's a science behind filtering the water. The water from the cistern and the filter will go into the school, and it also will serve the entire community. And in La Danta, I have to say, there's a furniture company there called Ethan Allen, big Ethan Allen company there, but very poverty-stricken area. So we did that. We also visited the girls' school. The girls are given scholarships. All of them have scholarships to attend a private school that is in Choloma. So they are bused in the morning. There are 2 sessions. The morning session is for the girls who are also learning English, and the afternoon session is for those who are trying to catch up in their grades. Beautiful facility, relatively speaking, of course. And they're doing a great job. Of course, we met the owners. The owners were amazing, lovely people, very dedicated to their job. It is a private school, so people who are paying to go there are also paying to sponsor a scholarship student. It's another area where we could probably have an impact. So from Choloma, we got in a van and went to back into San Pedro Sula, and this is when we went to the concert. We took the girls with us. They had never been to a music concert before. Larry and Trudy were gracious enough to make all the arrangements for us. We had this remarkable musical experience for the girls. And then that night we drove to the next city, El Progreso, where we met the El Progreso Rotary Club. And then of course we get up the next day bright and early, and that's when we go to the technical school and we build a wall. That was one long day of hard, sweaty work that we loved. It was so much fun because we're interacting with the students and the El Progreso Rotary Club. Then the next day we got in the car and we drove up into the mountains, and we visited multiple communities that have multiple needs. There was water wells, the well that we're funding actually, there actually is a pump. They have the well dug, and there's the space there, and they're waiting for the rest of the funding. I think they have $70,000 in place. They need another $7,000 to finish the project, and then they will also have a big concrete cistern. They're going to put it up on the hill, and it will go through a filter system, and it will be gravity fed to go into the community. So it's pretty surprising that you can't, get water from the infrastructure. There is no real government infrastructure like we have here. So everybody's kind of out on their own to do these kinds of things. The wells are shallow. They're about 50 feet, and they need to be 300 to 600 feet deep to have good water without bacteria or parasites. So that's the issue. to the mountains, and we drove way up the mountain, and we saw the area. Jim showed a photo of the beautiful scenery looking back into El Progreso. That was the mountaintop, and the entire community had walked up the mountain to meet us at this spot so that we could see the location where they wanted the school. They did have a level area where the kids are playing, soccer at this moment, but that's all they have. And they have one very dilapidated school that's falling apart, that's too small, it doesn't fit. Kids there are only going to school through about maybe middle school. They're not finishing, they're in 6th grade, they're not finishing high school. So I feel like education is really critical. Care for the women, it's very critical. We did visit a pregnancy clinic also. The Doctors Without Borders is there. We had a great interaction with the one doctor who was managing the clinic. Their goal is to get the clinic up and running and self-sustaining so that they can leave. They plan on being there probably a total of 3 years. So those are the kinds of experiences that we had. I'm sure, Kim, you have a lot more to add.
No, I mean, anything that you're interested in, they have a need for. And I think even Nick, in one of our stops, the need was so small, he said, how can I pay for it right now? So everywhere you went, there was just something else to do, something else to be involved in, and they're just so grateful because there's, their own government is just, they're just unable to provide the infrastructure. So hopefully, our club will find a couple of projects to get involved in and support, and I really do hope that some of you do choose to go in February.
And it shows how important it is for us to continue our giving to the foundation, the kinds of projects that the Rotary Foundation is actually supporting or advocating for: water, women and children, education. These projects fit every criteria for the Rotary Foundation. So our work here is important to support what's happening everywhere, but this is really great because we have a wonderful club, the Lake Wales Breakfast Club. Also, Lakeland South is participating. We have Lakeland North that's participating. There's another Rotary Club from Texas, the Christina Club also. So this is really great that Polk County has really come together. It's a great way for all of our clubs to work cooperatively and to make a big impact.